Oh, welcome to the Happy Handyman San Antonio and good morning. Yeah, you thought you were going to be talking to somebody else, but it's me, Trudy. And we usually have a show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was offered this new spot at 9 o'clock and I jumped on it. And I am so happy to be here. I cannot tell you how exciting it is for me to come right off the garden show. And those of you that are such loyal listeners, and then I get to talk to y'all. Y'all are a whole new group of people that I get to talk to. And this show today is I'm just going to talk through the show and talk to you about product and projects and things. But now, since we have an hour, because at 3 o'clock we only had 30 minutes. And so 30 minutes was really not enough to take callers. But we have an hour now. And so if you have a question about what's going on at your house, or maybe you want to start a project, well, next week we're going to start that. I'll give out the phone number next week, and then we can talk. Or if you want to just listen, I will talk and we will just listen. Like I said, I am so excited to be here. But let me tell you, we are broadcasting live from Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware. Yes, I'm here at 9 o'clock in the morning to broadcast live from the store, and I'm going to be here for the next hour. We're located at 2361 Northwest Military Highway, which is so easy to find. We're about 2 miles north of Loop 410, right past the light at Lock Hill, Selma. You will find plenty of parking here. You can park right up front and come right in. The store is going to be open from 8 to 6:30 today. In fact, we're 8 to 6:30 Monday through Saturday. And then for your convenience, on Sunday, we are 11 to 5. Anything that I talk about today or show you on Facebook, of course, we have it here. And so I just want to remind everybody that we are live streaming right now on Facebook. And then we take this show and we post it on our Facebook page. And an easy way to find us is just put in Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware, and that's JOHNNIE and CHUOKE, Home and Hardware, and then you will find us and you'll see me showing product, and hopefully we're going to have a good time today. You know, many of you may not be familiar with me, Trudy Chook, or the store, or my family, if you've never listened to the Happy Handyman show. And so let me tell you a little bit about who we are. We are Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware, and the reason the show is called the Happy Handyman show is because my dad was the original Happy Handyman. But let me back up a little bit. The reason we had lumberyards, we had 5 lumberyards here in San Antonio, and now we have this one hardware store. And the lumberyards were called Acme Lumber Company because my grandfather was a home builder, a big home builder. Back in, he probably started about the 50s and the 60s and 70s. And in fact, he built a whole lot in Terrell Hills and Alamo Heights. And so if you have a cut Austin stone house with a round window up front, that's probably my grandfather's home. Then he opened up all of Universal City because they built a base there, and there was no housing there, and so he built out there. Now, my dad was in the Navy, and when he got out of the Navy, my grandfather asked him to come and run his lumberyard for him downtown, because my grandfather opened a lumberyard to bring in the lumber and the supplies that he needed to build. And my dad just had a real knack for retail. He never met a stranger. He loved reaching out to people, and when they had a problem with maintenance around the house, or back then with the lumberyards, we did a lot of building. We had a lot of contractors that came in. Now the little hardware store that I have, it's mostly just homeowners. They're not builders, okay? But back then we did a lot of that. And my dad just loved retail. And we have been on the radio. Dad had been on the radio for eons. He first got his first start on Kono. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with Kono, but it was a big deal back in the day. And he had a show called Dog Watch, and it was very early in the morning. I have to give him that. He got up and he would go and he would do his Dog Watch show. And he did it with Howard Edwards. And he and Howard Edwards would do the Dog Watch. And then a little bit later, he was approached by WOAI to do a show. And then he partnered, his very first partner was Wally Johns. Maybe some of y'all are familiar with Wally Johns. Wally Johns was hilarious. Not that my dad didn't have a problem being funny, but Wally Johns was hilarious. And some of the best moments, my dad, when I started being on the radio, Dad would, sometimes he would have to leave the show in my hands. Big mistake. And Wally Johns and I would do a show together, and the only thing you would ever hear me is laughing all the way through Wally Johns, because he was that funny. And then Dad started working with Pat Rogers, Eliza Sutherland, and finally he got to work with the man Carl Wigglesworth, who was his best friend. And Dad and Carl Wigglesworth went all over. They did a show in Russia one time. I mean, Carl was very popular, and wherever Carl went, Dad went with him, and they just had a great camaraderie on the radio. And then when I turned about 40, my dad asked me to be on the radio with him. So now I've been on the radio a little over 30 years. I love doing radio. It's one of my favorite advertising things that we do. You know, you don't get to just do radio and say, okay, that's all the advertising I need to do. Now, you know, of course, it's social media and got to be out there every day and, you know, and stuff like that. But this radio, this is where I feel at home. And that's why I love doing radio, and I can't wait to do this show with y'all. Like I said earlier, I am doing this live from our store, and our store is 11,000 square feet of everything that you need as far as maintenance around the house. So that means we have electrical, plumbing, tools, lawn and garden, paint. We have almost 48 feet of nuts and bolts and screws and anything that you would need to put something back together with. And like I said, we have a paint department that is so great. We carry 2 of the best lines of paint that you can get for South Texas. And one of them is Coronado Paint. And I want to give you a little history about Coronado Paint. Coronado Paint was the original Negley Paint Company right here in San Antonio. And their paint was made for South Texas. And I want to say hi to a couple of people that have joined us this morning. Hi, Jill. Hi, Linda. Thank you for being a part of the Happy Handyman show this morning. And like I said earlier, we are streaming live on Facebook, so you can just go out there. If you have a question, I'll try to read it real quick, and so that we can add you into the show. But Coronado Paint, like I said, was the original Negley Paint Company. Negley Paint was designed for South Texas. Okay, look at the temperatures that we're having today. Okay, it started out at, I think, about 50. It might have been 40 this morning, and it's going to go all the way up to 82 today. I mean, that is a 40-degree spread. Not all paint is made to do that. But Coronado Paint, the original Negley Paint, and let me tell you, Negley Paint was a family-owned business, okay? There was a Mr. Negley, and when he sold his company, it was bought by a company out of Florida, and then finally, about 2 later, Benjamin Moore picked it up, okay? And they, within all those changes and all the buyers, they never changed the formulation of the original acrylic coat. Acrylic coat is what you want to use for the outside of your house. And no one has ever changed that formulation. That's not what usually happens. Usually paint companies will buy up another paint company, slap their name on it, and change the formulation, okay? But not with Ben Moore and Coronado Paint. And I say that for a reason. Down here, if you're gonna paint the outside of your house, what you wanna use is Coronado Paint. It will last 15 to 18 years on the outside of your house as long as you prep correctly. And that is no stretch. That is, I mean, it just happens. I can use any kind of paint that I want to on the outside of my house, and I would always use Coronado. The other paint like that we carry is Ben Moore. Ben Moore has beautiful paint. They have a paint called Aura that is known for, if you have to go back and spot paint areas, Aura is going to blend in perfectly. Not all paints will do that. And so those are the 2 paints that I really like to recommend, and I really like to say, come on in our store. We have a great paint department. If you have something that you want to match up, just bring it in and we'll color match it for you, and I promise it is going to match. And it can be as small as a dime, and we can color match it for you. Okay, well, I know I get really excited about paint. All right, so I know what you're probably saying. Oh, Trudy, I want to listen to the show, but there is no way you're talking me into doing all these projects that you're going to talk about. Well, Dad had this little byline, and it is really so true, and I'm going to tell you a story to go with it. Everything is easy if you know how to do it and you have the right product, okay? So let me tell you a little story. Back about 1,000,000 years ago, it seems, when we had 5 lumberyards, it was very unusual back then for lumberyards to have computer systems. They just didn't. I know you probably can't believe that there was ever a time that we didn't have a computer system, but there was, and we worked it, you know, and it worked fine. But then a little bit later, we got online with computer, and I have to tell you, it made a whole lot of difference in the lumberyard and ease of taking care of inventory and things like that. And back then, 5 lumberyards meant we had 5 computers, and each lumberyard kind of worked independently, and then right at the end of the month, we would put it all together. Well, then, as later on, we got where we were all on one mainframe. That's what we called it back there, a mainframe. And when we would have problems with a computer, and we always did, we would have to hire someone to come down and work on it for us, and it was so expensive. I mean, like, it's got commas in it. It was just expensive. And one time I called them and I told them what the problem was, and they said, your motherboard is out. It was a motherboard, or it was something, all right? I was so out of my element that, you know, it could have been a plug. I don't know. And the guy said, okay, it's going to be a week before we can get anybody down there. A week? No way could we run our store a week without a computer system. And he said, or I can send it to you and you can do it yourself. Do it myself? I can't do that myself. I can't work on a computer system myself. I mean, I had all these preconceived ideas about what it would take to work on a computer system. And I knew me. I was not that person. And he said, no, Trudy, I'm going to walk you through it and you're going to do it. And so he did. And he walked me through it. And believe it or not, guess what? It worked. And it was easy because I knew what to do and I had the right product. And that is everything when it comes to home maintenance. As long as you know what to do and you have the right product, then home maintenance is easy. And it will save you so much money from hiring a pro. I mean, there are times we need to hire a pro, okay? But a lot of times you don't. And that's my job, is to walk you through how to do it yourself and get the confidence of working on something small, and then you can work up to something big. So, and then my job is like to tell you what to do, how to do it, and then you can come here and I provide all, I have to tell you, all the people here, they are so good. They know where product is, they know how to use it, they know if you bring it in your hot little hands in pieces, how to make it work again, how to, if you have a question about, is this something I can do? They'll say, yes, and here is the product. And so we have the people here that can help you with that. And that, if that's always been frustrating to you, then, you know, that's what's nice about a family-owned business. And I am not like saying anything about anybody else's business, but I can tell you here that the people here, they know what they're doing, okay? And if they can't help you, they will get people that can help you. So, all that to say, let's get started with that first product. And so, let me tell you, how many of you notice that hard water is a problem for you? In San Antonio, it's a major pain. It will cause you problems with your bathtubs, your sinks, your shower walls, your toilets, your stainless steel sinks, your faucets, and it can drive you nuts. And if you don't use the right product to clean with, you either don't get the surface clean, or worse, you do damage to the surface by using something too aggressive. So, let me tell you how to clean, and I have to watch my time. I'm usually not having to watch time, so I'm going to keep looking at my watch to make sure we have plenty of time. So let's get started with hard water in the toilet. How many of you get a ring of hard water at the bottom of your toilet, and that you notice when you have a brand new toilet, it flushes so well, and as the toilet gets older, you may have to, flush more than once, so you're wasting a lot of water, and that you are leaving hard water deposits and clogging up all the little holes underneath the toilet. So what do you do? And that's what this program's about. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and exactly the right product. I'm not going to tell you, go get a toilet bowl cleaner. Well, have you gone to the toilet bowl cleaner aisle? I mean, there's hundreds of them, right? And so I get confused when I do that at the grocery store just looking for green beans. There's hundreds of them, okay? I just want to know which one is going to be the best for my problem. So I'm going to tell you. There is a product called Delete Germ. Delete Germ is a product that we have had on our shelves for more than 40 years. And it is very easy to use, and unlike most toilet bowl cleaners, it smells nice, okay? So if you're trying to get rid of a hard water stain, and lots of times it's mildew will form on that hard water stain, and a lot of people will use something that's just really bleach based, and they get rid of the mildew stain, but you haven't gotten rid of the hard water, and it's the hard water that causes the problem. So Delete Germ was a product that was originally made for hospitals here in San Antonio, and the laboratory that did it, that's who they reached out to, hospitals and military bases. And it was used to clean the toilets and the bathrooms, because not only did it clean hard water and it was a great delimer, it was also a disinfectant. So hospitals wanted that. And so when you're wanting to clean your toilet, it's so simple to do. All you're gonna do is lift the lid on the bowl, put a stream of Delete Germ in the bowl, and then you're gonna do something that not a lot of toilet bowl cleaners will tell you to do. And this is, you are going to lift the lid on the tank, and you are going to look at the overflow pipe that comes up in the tank. And it's just about right where the water line is, and it's open on top. And you're going to take the quart size. You're always going to buy a quart first if you've never bought Delete Germ, because it's got this great little spout on the top. And you're going to squeeze in about a half a cup of Delete Germ down that pipe. Now, remember, I'm not saying put it in the tank. If you've got a tank that looks dirty and stuff like that, there are other products for that that will not damage any of the flappers. You know, all those things that people tell you to hang on the side of the tank and it'll turn the water blue and things like that. And it might give a nice smell, but it does super damage on all the flappers and things like that, because it's very bleach based, and bleach will just take the rubber and just make it disintegrate over time. And then you've got to replace a flapper. And if you don't have to replace a flapper, why do it? So you're going to put it in the overflow, and then the first time you use it, you're going to leave it alone overnight, okay? And let it work. And then the next morning, you're not flushing it, okay? Just leave it to work, and it's going to go down when you put it down the pipe, it's going to go down through the toilet and underneath the rim of the toilet and in all those little holes, okay? And that will help open them up. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't cleaned your toilet like this, and your toilet's like 5 to 10 years old, it's not going to happen overnight, okay? You're going to have to do this several times before it will open up all those, okay? And then you're going to take a really stiff toilet bowl brush, and you're going to clean the bowl and flush. And that's it. That's all you have to do. That will clean out your toilet. Now, if you have a toilet bowl hard water ring that is above the water line, then that's the hard part. You're going to get a product called a Flexi Scour. And I forgot to show y'all what the Delete Germ looks like. The Delete Germ comes like this, those of you watching on Facebook, okay? And I know it's all backwards because I don't have a way to put a filter on it. We're doing this live. Delete Germ. And you can see it's this light green color. It smells like peppermint. I don't know what's in it that smells like peppermint. They won't tell me. But all it is this bottle. And you want to keep this bottle when you buy it, and then when you buy it again, you want to buy it in the gallon size, because the gallon size is so much more economical, and just keep refilling your quart. And then if you don't have a really good toilet bowl brush, then you can use these Scotch-Brite, or you can use Flexi Scour made by Pummy. And what that is it's about the size of the Scotch-Brite, and we're almost out right now, so I didn't want to show it on the air. And it's a screening material that is infused with pumice, okay? So if you need to get that hard water line that is above the water line, and that happens to a lot of people, get it off with a flexi scour. You will not do any damage to your toilet, and it will give you, and once you get it off the first time, when you clean with the lead germ, you won't, every week, you won't have that problem.
Didn't recognize you without a hat.
Okay, let me tell you where we're located again. We're at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. The phone number here, I don't think I gave that out, is 210-341-1573. Store is going to be open until 6:30 today, and we'll be right back after the break.
Almost isn't exact, but your best guess. Well, on one side, it's like that much. Yeah. The thing there's still have these in there, and we'll try to use the ones I have.
Okay, they can't hear me right now, right? Okay, because it just hit me. I've got Facebook people going, why is she not talking? So I'm going to talk to my Facebook dudes. Okay. Okay, those of you that are watching on Facebook, this is the hard part about watching on Facebook, is I've got about 4 minutes right now where they're taking a break on OAI and doing commercials and weather and things like that. And you are just hanging in. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. It could be that we only do 30 minutes on Facebook. I don't know. But what I can do right now is I can talk to you a little bit about some other products that I probably won't get a chance to talk today. Okay, how many of you need a new flashlight? Let me tell you, this triple light flashlight is not like any other flashlight. I'm showing you this right now. It's got 180 degree head on it. So when you turn this on, I don't want to turn it, I'm going to turn it on this way. It opens up all kinds of light to where you can see to your right and to your left, not only just one little area right down the middle. Okay, so if you need one, we have them on an end cap and they're really good. Oh, brother. Okay, and then one flush. How many of you have septic systems and you just have, I mean, you're always looking for a product that will help you? This product right here, One Flush, is one of the best products that you can use as far as your septic system. It's got billions of more enzymes in the little packets. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. There's 3 little packets in there. And all you do is you put a packet in your toilet every 30 days and flush it. That's it. You don't have to leave the toilet alone. You just flush it and let it work. And since it has billions of more enzymes than other products that you use, and it's so economical. I mean, I think it's might be $12.95 now. It used to be $9.95 about 10 years ago, and it's $12.95 for 9 months worth of product. Okay, I don't know what we're gonna do about this right now, so I'm gonna take a little break. If you want to hang on, I'll be back in just a few minutes, okay? Oh, really? Oh, that's not bad. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. to close it and then start it up again. I don't know. Yes.
All right, and how much are those? Did you get the price on these guys here?
I'm sorry,
Did you get the price on these?
30 cents.
30 cents. All right. Do you have an account here with us?
No,
$30 and 35 cents. There you are.
Okay.
You can go ahead and tap her in,
oh,
sir.
okay.
You want a bag, sir?
Please.
And welcome back to the Happy Handyman Show on WOAI. I'm Trudy Chook, broadcasting live from Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware. And this is the exciting part. I have another half hour to talk to y'all about product and projects and tell you a little bit about my store. Like I said, we're located at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. The store will be open till 6:30 today, tomorrow 11 to 5. Now, once you get to know our store, like I told you, there's 11,000 square feet to this store, and I talked to you about the hardware part, but what I didn't tell you about is the gift shop that is in the front. We've got about 2,500 square feet of gift in the front of our store. Gift for birthdays and anniversaries and your girlfriends, and we have tons of candles. And you know what I really enjoy about the gift is, how many of you have noticed there is no bookstores in San Antonio that are just geared to Christian faith? Okay, when COVID happened, they all closed down and they are nowhere in sight. Well, we have at least 3 shelves, 3 areas in our store on Christian book. And so if you want to give somebody something that shows a little faith, well, we have it here. And we have events that are coming up. Okay, next weekend on February 13th and 14th, and yes, Friday is Friday the 13th, but hey, we're going to have an event. We are going to have Galentine's Day. And I know that some of you kind of poo-poo Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day. I love all the color and the hearts and the flowers and how pretty it is. And so we have gifts here for Valentine's Day, gifts that you can give your girlfriends, gifts you can give yourself, candies and all kinds of things. And we're also going to have a special guest, M&M Treats. If you've never seen Melissa and all of her cookies and cupcakes, well, you need to come in because she does them all herself and they are so yummy. And then in March, we are going to do a spring bucket sale on March the 13th, and Melissa's going to be back for that too. So in case you need a little encouragement to do some spring cleaning. And what the bucket sale is we'll give you a bucket. Okay, it's a really nice work bucket. And then anything that you put in that bucket is 20% off. Okay, any cleaning supplies, you can go to aisle 19 and you will see a whole aisle, so 40 feet of cleaning supplies. Anything you put in there, you can take at 20% off. It's a great time to buy stuff like that. And then on the 27th of March, Melissa is going to do something so special for us. She's going to teach a class of cookie decorating for Easter. And so if you want to be a part of that, call the store. We're going to we're going to have 2 times on that, 2 spots, one from like 10 to 12 that day, and then 1 to 3. I think the class will cost $50, and you'll take home cookies that you decorated, and then if you want some extra ones, she has some to sell. And then in April, which the 2nd to the 4th, which is going to be Easter. Easter's very early this year. Hopefully we're not having to wear coats during Easter. And we have our annual Build a Basket event, to where we'll give you a basket, but this year it's going to be this really cute little box that's all decorated for Easter. And anything that you put inside there is going to be on sale. So that means you can stuff bunnies in there, candy in there. We have gifts for kids. We have clothes for children. Anything you want to. If it's not going to be a grandchild that you give it to, or your children, if you're giving it to like someone, your daughter or something like that, well, let me tell you, I've seen ladies that stick a Consuela bag in there. So I just want to tell you about the events that are coming up. And if you want to know about these events, just when you come into the store, sign up for our Facebook stuff, and then you will get a deal every month that will give you a coupon, tell you the events that we have. And if you've been eyeing stuff, just wait for that coupon to come in. It'll give you 20% off. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. All right, now, I was still talking to you about hard water, and I want to get through it because I want to talk about odors too. All right, so hard water in your porcelain tub. Now, this is a porcelain tub, okay? It's like if you have a shower curtain and a magnet will stick to the tub, it's a porcelain tub. If your house is probably more than 20 to 30 years old, it's a porcelain tub. When you hit your fingernail on the side of it, you'll be able to tell it makes a clink, clink, clink. It's a porcelain tub. All right, so you can clean your porcelain tub, because lots of times when hard water and soap scum build up on a tub, what cleans it off is the delete germ. Remember me telling you early, it's a great de-limer. You can use that. Now, when you use delete germ in anything besides the toilet, because I told you earlier, you can let it sit overnight. In fact, when I go on vacation, I put the delete germ in my toilet to work the whole time I'm on vacation, because it will go down and work below the water line. But when you're using it on your tub, your shower, your shower walls, your sinks, anything like that, and your shower doors, it works amazing for glass. What you have to remember is you work quickly and you rinse thoroughly. Never do you use the philosophy with delete germ is I'm going to put it down and let it work for a little bit. You don't do that with delete germ. You put it on, you're going to use a Scotch-Brite to clean with, and you're going to work quickly, wear gloves, and then you're going to rinse thoroughly. And then when you're done cleaning, you're going to rinse out that sponge, and don't just let it sit in the shower or the sink or anywhere like that, because even though it smells nice and it doesn't like burn your nose or anything, don't take it lightly. It is a very heavy duty cleaner, and that's why it can get off hard water. Okay, if you have hard water on your faucets and stainless steel, you want to use a product called Bring It On. Bring It On is safe to use on metals, and you might have to use a little elbow grease, but it will clean off. If you have an acrylic like bubble tub, you can't use just anything on those man-made products, because they have a gel coating on them. And once you get done with looking, or if you want to clean, if you use too aggressive of a cleaner, it will strip off that gel coating and you will never get that product, that tub, that shower stall. A lot of shower stalls now are made with acrylic, okay, because it's simple and they can make it any size that they want to, okay, and it's usually pretty reasonable and they can make it any color. So, but it's not indestructible, so you have to use the right product. And if you get confused, when you're here at the store, I'm here almost every day of the week. There's only one day that I usually try to take off, and that's on Thursdays. I'm even here on Sundays, and if you have a question and you're concerned about what you can use and what you can't use, then ask me, and I'll tell you. Now, you also can use it on faucets and stuff like that. I personally like to use Faucet Bright made by Gel Gloss, and we're going to talk about Gel Gloss later on in the shows coming up. But they make a very good faucet cleaner that will take off hard water stains without doing any damage. Now, you can use this on almost anything, okay? However, if you have all rub bronze fixtures, those are so different. They're a softer metal. How many of you knew that? I didn't until a rep told me about it. And then you want to use a product made by Flitz called Faucet Wax and then a little plus symbol. And this Faucet Wax Plus is made for, you can use it on your other like nickel and chrome and things like that, but it's more expensive, okay? So if you just have those two types of metal, you don't have to get this. But if you have gold fixtures, and they're coming back, and aura bronze or any kind of specialty fixture, you want to use Faucet Wax Plus. It's the only safe one to use, because the worst thing that can happen if you've had those and you accidentally use something too aggressive, it'll take the finish right off of it, and there's no bringing it back there, because it's just a layer that's on it, and once you remove that layer, it's gone. It's gone for good. All right, now, one of the biggest questions that I get is about odors, okay? Odors are huge. Odors between pet odors, okay, or food odors, or smoke. I mean, people don't smoke inside their house like they used to, okay? But if you have a friend that smokes, and they may not smoke inside your house, but their clothes are just like infused with smoke, and they can't smell it, but when they come into your house, when they leave, you can smell smoke. Okay, so what do you do about that? For odors that are in the air, and that can mean, like I said, smoke, okay? I had a guy that came in the other day, and he said, my dog got skunked. Okay, we couldn't just leave him in the garage. We had to bring him in, and now our whole house smells like skunk because it does. And Max has gotten skunked twice, and it's a nightmare. And I've been lucky that it was during the springtime and it was warm enough for me to wash him outside, but still it lingers. I mean, skunks, they got something going on. All right, so if you have an odor in the air, whether it's a skunk smell, a food smell, a smoke smell, a musty smell, maybe you have a lake house or something that you lock up during the wintertime, or a ranch house, and it just smells musty when you get in. Air sponge. Air sponge is probably the coolest product I have ever seen that works every time, and it's so simple to use. I mean, all you do is open it up and just leave it out so that air can flow over it, okay? If the odor is just in one room, you can make it go quickly by put it in that room and close the door, You can also, if like I said, you have a musty smell and it's like all over the house, you can put this in the return air, and every time the air comes on or the fan comes on, it'll take this real clean smell. It's not a perfume smell. It's not a super soapy smell. It's just this real clean smell. Now, what's different about air sponge versus, I don't know, a Lysol or something you plug in? It's because air sponge is an odor neutralizer. It's it actually, when you open this up, the molecules go up into the air and grab a hold of the odor molecules and bring them down to the floor where you clean them out. And I know that sounds strange. My mind doesn't understand that, okay? But all I know is it works, okay? Now, if you have a really potent smell, maybe you burnt popcorn and it's just, you can't get rid of it, you can shock the air with an air sponge. You just turn it upside down and you pull the bottom off, and 75% of the product will be laying in the lid. And you just let it work like that. And I'll tell you, a lot of people say, well, how long will it last? It depends on how potent the odor is. If it's really strong, it may last 2 weeks. If it's not, if it's just this little lingering musty smell, it might last you a couple of months. But you'll know when it's done when all you see is a little charcoal cookie at the bottom of the lid, okay, or the bottom of the container. So if you have an odor, air sponge, okay, odor neutralizer. This is for the air. But what if you've got an odor in, like, I don't know, the drapes, the couch, the rug, the concrete underneath the rug? Okay, say you have a pet that you're trying to train and they're just not doing too well at the training. Okay, BioZap is a product that is a liquid. It's clear like water, and it doesn't, it's not sticky. It will dry clear. You don't have to worry about washing it out later, okay? It too is an odor neutralizer. It's not just an odor, something of fragrance. It actually will take care of any kind of odor and neutralize it. Get rid of it, you'll never smell it again. And especially with pets, because you don't understand, you're trying to train them and you clean the surface with just a carpet cleaner or something like that, but you have to remember, when they make a mess, it goes down to the carpet, down through the pad, down to the concrete underneath. And that's why they keep coming back, because they can smell that and they've marked that area, and so they keep coming back to that because that's the way they're trained to do that. That's what you want them to do outside, okay? Trainers will tell you, take them to the same place every time, okay? So that's what's happening inside the house. So what do you have to do? You have to take care of the odor so they can't smell it, and you can't either. And so BioZap is what you want to do for that. It's a great product. It's not a cleaner, okay? It's just an odor neutralizer. So this is great. Like if you get a car that's got a smoke smell, put an air sponge in it. If you've got a car that maybe you spilt food in and you cleaned it up, but then there's this odor that goes all over, use BioZap. Even BioZap, like if you have a smoke odor, spray all the soft areas. If you have like a carpet, the seats, the headliner, all of that. And not only spray the inside of the car, but the trunk also, okay? So, all right, so let's see how much time we have left. Okay, we have a few minutes. All right, I want to talk to you about something that, how many of you really struggle with pest control? I've got 2 products I want to end the show with real quick and tell you about. And I have these done. The clobber, okay, is great for roaches, ants, scorpions. It is a water-based product, okay, so, and it makes a barrier to keep pests out of your house. So like if you have roaches, and you would need to spray all around the perimeter of the inside of the house. And it doesn't take you any time at all. Since it's water-based, it has very little odor, and it's safe around children and pets as soon as it dries, and it dries in 20 minutes. So this is how I use it, because I use it, it has it says 60-day residual on it, so a residual means it'll last for that long. Mine's 90 days. I can take it 90 days. I put little Max in the car. If you're not familiar with me, you know we have a little dog here that belongs to me called Max. He's very popular on all our social media. All we got to do is show Max, and then we get these thousands of likes, okay? And then I put Max in the car, and I go back inside the house, and I spray all the inside of the house, around all the baseboards. I don't have a real problem, so I don't even spray like inside the cabinets. I just spray all the baseboards that I can get to. I don't move my couch. I don't move the piano. I just spray everything I can take. And it takes me maybe 5 minutes because it goes so quick. I have got about 1,200 square feet, small little garden home, okay? And I spray. And then that's all I have to do for 60 days. If you have a pest control and a system that you use and you have a problem with you see bugs before it's time, just grab you some clobber, and that'll take care of it, okay? That's for the inside of the house. For the outside of the house, it's different. And when I mean outside the house, I mean garage and shed. Covered areas only. This VS 102 is an oil-based product. These are made right here in Texas, okay? So I like that part. They know about Texas bugs, okay? And this one will say roach and ant spray. The other one says dust mites and bed bugs. It's not, that's not what it does. It takes care of roaches, ants, and scorpions. And so, but the VS 102, it's oil-based. You do not want to use this inside your house. Do not use it in the garage, which is perfect. You get them in the garage, you get them inside the house with clobber. So you can spray the inside of your garage with the VS 102, and then you've got it taken care of. If you have a shed, you can do it out there. If you have a covered porch, you can do it there, okay? But if it's all open air, then no. It does not have a UV protectant in it, and so it would just break down. Does anything to do help with roly-polies? Yes, Jennifer. Jennifer just asked a question on Facebook. She said, does anything help with roly-polies? Yes, it does. And it is a product that is a granule, and I will get back. For the life of me, I cannot remember which it is. And wouldn't you know, somebody would ask me a question, and I can't remember what it is. Hey, Kale, can you go over there? What's that product that's used for roly-polies? Uh-oh, I'm out of time. I didn't think that would happen, but it is. All right. Let me tell you where we're located again. We're at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. The phone number is 210-341-1573. And that's it for this week, folks. It's time for you to roll up your sleeves and get busy on some of these projects we've been talking about. But by all means, you remember one thing. It will always be a great day to paint. See you next week.